Yo guys, Gluten-Free EDC here. I'm Brian, your gluten-sensitive representative. Today I've got an unboxing by way of my buddy Knife Ninja EDC over on Instagram. He's an awesome dude. Ev, thank you so much for sending this my way to check out. As usual, we got the Dapper Design little guy. I forget what this is called right now, but sweet little blade. I actually got this from Ev. Giveaway from Lefty EDC. But let's just tear into this guy. So this is a knife all the way from France. My buddy was lucky enough to win this guy. And kind enough to share it. So let's dive on in. So you can see GTK Grind Tactical Knives. He is the French maker. Oh man, he threw in some cool stuff. Wow, this is awesome. Cool little like lanyard kind of thingy. That's neat. Got like a topographical design. You got the sticker of the logo. We'll set that aside for now. Just right there. And yeah, it looks like, you know, one or two hanks maybe. That's pretty cool. You know what? Let's just see. Proper unboxing, right? So you got, oh no, it's just the one. And just different sides. You got plaid on the one side. Looks like car parts. I say that because I see like a, what I believe to be like a turbo. And then the wheels and car, motorcycle, automotive parts. Pretty cool. I imagine that's not pronounced Thomas necessarily, since he is from France, so it's probably Thomas of some sort. Pretty cool. GrindTacticalKnives.com. Definitely check that out. He's got amazing knives. He's on Instagram as GT Knives. Grind Tactical Knives on Facebook. Yeah, definitely check him out. He makes gorgeous knives. Some true grails, one of which we will be diving into. Let me close this guy up for safety's sake, because it is razor sharp. Pretty cool little guy. I believe it's called the Clip or Click. Okay. Wow, this is like unwrapping an actual gift. It's the paper. Here's the prize. Alrighty. Let's dive on in. And here she is. I imagine some sort of COA. Yeah, your standard little case. So this is Speartak Regular. I believe he started calling it the Regular when he started putting out a Mini. So this is the full size, if you will. RWL 34 hand rub. That is his standard steel and standard finish as far as I am aware on a blade. The handle, you have white G10 and vintage emerald green paper. So, and that's, I believe, this particular paper, Westinghouse micarta, is from, if you're familiar with Hawk's Nest, over on Instagram. I think he has Facebook as well. But yeah, it's from that guy. Cool dude. I've actually met him a handful of years ago at Blade Show. But yeah, real cool dude. Crazy materials. And then you see custom pivot and screws. So that's pretty cool that he's custom doing all of that, custom making all that. January 19th, 2024. My goodness. I'm recording this just about a month later. So I just got this in from the mail. It is unbelievably cold. I know that will impact action sometimes, but let's just take a look at this gorgeous, gorgeous material. So you've got some blacks in here. I hope this is coming through, guys. The green is just utterly stunning, especially with like the blacks shining through. The white G10 is a really nice touch around the pivot, so it's kind of like a pivot collar, but the pivot actually integrates into the collar. Gorgeous to see that. And you can see it's all shadow boxed ever so, no, it's not shadow boxed, but there's a layer of white G10 as a liner between the paper and the paper micarta and the titanium liners. And then the backspacer is really cool. So you have like a V cut out concave, if you will, all the way through. It does seem to go all the way. And then it's flush right here. You can see where it gets flush. So really, really beautiful. Get you a nice little look at that. It is that white G10. I think that was a really good, just artistic choice. The white and green, beautiful combo. Clip looks fantastic. The French aren't like crazy about pocket clips. Like they'll often have slips. David Lespect, specifically, he always has a slip with every one of his knives, a leather slip. This one didn't come with one, and the clip looks fantastic. Now, I will say, they can do clips, like, really well. So it's not to say that they're against it. Now, it's nice and thin, so there's going to be a good amount of flex to there. I like seeing that. So handle-wise, looks like it'll be good. Let's open her up. So first one I'm going to go, I want to see if this fuller, oh yeah, really, really easy. Oh, this is a good size blade too. I believe it's 3 1/4 inch blade. Let's get, this is probably pretty clean, so we'll use this. This is pretty rough. I'm going to get one of my microfibers. Give me 1 second, guys. Alrighty, got a little NAF hub. If you're not familiar, it's a Facebook group. They're really cool. But it's, I imagine this has no scratches. Yeah, that was just the cold, I imagine. So let's take a look at her. The blade now. You've got a gorgeous, gorgeous kind of sheep's footy blade. This is definitely round. It's not just flat. And then you have this heading down. Excuse me. We have this heading down the entire way. Beautiful blade shape. You've got a swedge coming along right here. You've got that fuller, which actually goes into the swedge. It's an interesting choice. I dig it. I feel like oftentimes they'll stop where the swedge comes into play. Maybe not, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Sharpening choil outside of the plunge grind. That looks like that's been done perfectly. So that will be nice and sharp. Yep. Pretty nice. And then you have this little guy. Now, aesthetically, this may not be for everyone. And I say that because I'm not sure 100% how I feel about that. But when you hold it, it makes sense. I could see if your hand was a little bit bigger, that would be even more perfect. I've got smaller hands, right? My hands are on the small side, being a medium-sized glove, but on the small side of that. But yeah, that is very comfortable. And then up here, you have jimping along the entire way. So for me, I'm not sure. I might use that, but my thumb could kind of go either way, depending on my grip. You know, more average size hands, I think that would be perfect. It does seem comfortable, and you could see that is where he puts his logo, the GTK. Nice and simple. So that's pretty cool. The jimping is very fine. I'm surprised how fine that is. It's pretty sharp. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, that's real sharp looking. But it's shallow. It's very shallow. So it doesn't feel... It feels very grippy, but not necessarily sharp. Let's see how that works. Whew. Oh, yeah. Wow. Wow, the action on this thing is nuts. Yep, you could do kind of everything with this. The detent is perfect. Just strong enough to get the job done. But, you know, not shaking out. Oh, there you go. If you shake it as hard as you can get it out. But that's like every knife, honestly. I can get most of them out. Like, if I give them some good ones, it's still not coming out. That last one, I kind of gave it my all. So, really cool. The detent's really well done. Man, the middle finger flick is fantastic. The lock bar is pretty sharp, it felt like. Which is... I'm always torn, like, that to me is a good thing, because I like it catching my thumb. There's plenty of access in there. I'm one of those guys that I really, really want the lock bar to be easily moved out of the way. I want to be able to easily access it. This is great. Yep, this works. It's a little sharp, I think, in all honesty, but I think that's what makes it so easy to, again, move out of the way, to disengage the lock. This is a fantastic knife. So that jimping, back to that, yeah, that works really well. It's not too sharp at all. The fact that he did it so shallow, I think, is its saving grace. So it's a really great combo of just sharp jimping. You could see they're little tiny, you know, triangles, pretty sharp looking, but then shallow, so it's not going to dig in deep enough that it would hurt, and it just catches perfectly. Really, really well done jimping. That is perfect. I wouldn't want to see that changed at all. The lock bar access, like I said, perfect, super easy to disengage. Yeah, that's a home run. And what I've been noticing, and I've been saving for last, is I always love good ergos. That is just like a thing for me. Like, how it feels in the hand is just, that means a lot for me. And it's awesome. This is awesome. So this really hugs you in. So we've got the cutout here and here, right? That locks you in, but it adds that bit of comfort. So you've got the choil holding your finger in, but that cutout right there is just perfect. So you have that indexing point right here. Like I said, that's what's locking you in. That's super comfy alone, just index finger alone. What's really nice is you have the straight line and then the curve down and then a separate curve down. So it fills the palm a little bit more. So it feels like, yeah, it just fills your palm a little bit more. But then because it curves down so drastically here and then has like that bit of a, it's not sharp by any means, but I'm going to refer to it as like a sharper kind of point. That is almost an indexing point for my hand this way, right? So my pinky kind of like leads up to there. Not so much where I'm like up against it, but I could feel like it almost locks me in there too. So the knife kind of feels like it locks me in just all together. This is incredibly comfortable. Like, that design is perfect. That's perfection. Choking back. You could choke up with this, but you're getting up to that sharpened edge. I don't think that's the best case scenario. But yeah, that is amazing. Really, really cool knife. The action is insane. I mean, you guys have seen me just playing with this. Really, really nice action. It's a lighter detent. I think that is actually preferable on a front flipper. I think you kind of need a lighter detent to be usable. What that means, though, is the middle finger flick is a little lackluster. It doesn't have as much pop to it as, you know, if this were just a middle finger flicking kind of knife. I'd want a stronger detent. It's enough detent that, you know, it flies out. It's still poppy, but yeah, I think the detent's perfect. I wouldn't change this detent in the slightest because of that front flipper, and that is what it's primarily intended as. Yeah. Front flippers, I think they get a bad rep, but they're super fidgety. They're super fun. I like them. Let's do a quick size comparison, guys. So I have another awesome French front flipper, the 520. So this is just a hair bigger. This is a 3.5-inch blade. This is, I'm going to say 3.5-inch blade. Like, that looks identical. And then handle-wise, this is actually a bit longer. So it's not a small blade, small knife altogether. This is probably my favorite clip in the game, the 520. So you can see thin, and then if we get this guy, it's fairly similar, actually. Let's see if we get that. They're very similar clips. You know, different styles, but they do the same thing. And this clip is best in the game. This is up there with the Shamwari, I'm trying to think of other clips that are real good. The Roosevelt by Oz Machine Co. But that is probably, yeah, best. I imagine this is going to be similarly just as good. Now this knife is CNC'd, so he's doing CNC work to get his finishing, or to get the whole knife. So a bit different, whereas this one's fully handmade. This one is CNC'd. But yeah, it's an amazing knife. We'll get you one more. A quiet carry waypoint. I think that's a little more relatable. And yeah, you can see the blade is definitely about a 1/4 inch smaller. I don't know if that's coming through. And a solid 1/4 inch, between a 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch, probably smaller for the handle size. So I would say maybe like a 1/2 inch smaller altogether, at least. So definitely closer to the 5th. If you guys are familiar. Now this is a custom 5th, but if you're familiar with the CKF 5th, same exact dimensions. So that is that. So overall, first impressions, amazing knife, guys. This is a crazy nice knife. I'm super glad that I got to check it out. Thanks again, Ev, and really glad that I get to share this one with you guys. But that will be that for today. I hope you've enjoyed. Catch you later.